Hey guys, welcome back to INSITE channel and welcome to the PGL CS2 Major. We're here in Copenhagen and we've got our first interview. I'm here with Frozen. We are here the day after you just played against Spirit. You're in the semi-finals of the Major. Firstly, before we get on to anything, how you doing? How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Didn't sleep that good, but kind of expected after such a long game.
Yeah.
I feel like, a lot of emotions. Overall, I'm happy that we made it, but job's not done.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing that I think a lot of people won't even realize, is that when you have such an intense game like that, it's so hard to reset after on that night. So for you, you've still got other games to go. How do you reset that night?
I think it's kind of beneficial that we have an off day now.
Yeah.
That we didn't play, today. So we actually have one day to rest and prepare. I think after a game like this, you just gotta try your best to calm down, I would say. And even though it might feel nice in the moment that you won and might feel like you're on the top of the world, job's not done. There's still more games to be played, and we just gotta stay grounded.
Yeah, there's always more things to be learning on, and today I assume you're going straight to prac after this interview. But just talking about that game, it started off really well. You guys had a really good first map, and it was actually pretty dominant, it felt like. Do you want to talk me through you guys going into that map, how you maybe prepared, and what was going on throughout that map?
On Mirage, we already faced them 2 times on Mirage before in Katowice. Didn't really feel like they changed much, honestly, coming to this tournament. So I think in this sense, we maybe had a little upper hand because I think they always kind of stick to their protocols. And honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. It only came down to getting the first kills once they, are doing their executes. Either they go B or A. And I think we kind of shut them down in whatever they wanted to do. Even though it was 8-4 half on Mirage, I think it could have been a little bit more dominant because we lost to Deagles on the B side at one round.
Yeah, there was a few sticky rounds.
So the half could have easily been 9-3. I feel like overall it felt like we were in control, even though they had both pistols on the map. Pretty convincing win.
Yeah, so you mentioned there that they hadn't changed much on Mirage specifically. Was that something that was also the same for other maps? Did you feel like you were playing a team that hadn't really evolved much since when you last played?
For example, on Nuke, I think they have kind of specific style, very compact, and it's kind of hard to, for example, hit the A sides against them. I feel like. In this sense, you could say they didn't really change much, but it's also one of the, I would say, the most frequent used ways of how to play CT side on Nuke.
Yeah.
So props to them. I think they're obviously a great team on Nuke as well, right? So probably could have been a little bit better T side, maybe better adaptation from us.
Yeah.
On CT side, I would say, again, I'm not sure if they change much, but we know what they're gonna do at some point. I feel like we're ready. Maybe we were ready. So I think once it came to overtime, I think they kind of caught us off guard with these rushes 2 times. I think that was well played by them.
Okay.
I think at one point we also kind of figured them out on CT side, but we started to a little overcook, I feel like, and a little bit too many ideas, I feel like, going on.
Okay.
And we didn't close it out on Nuke, I feel like. We didn't. And Vertigo, I think that was a completely different game. I don't feel like they could prepare for us since we didn't play Vertigo yet. Yeah. And for us, we obviously could check how they play Vertigo, but it was way more about how we're gonna play than what they're gonna do. Honestly.
It's interesting you were talking about a lot of voices. You were saying on Nuke, there was just a lot of people speaking and a lot of ideas flowing around. How did that maybe get mediated or resolved going on to a third map, for instance? Who were the people giving the ideas, and how did maybe Carrigan funnel them into one voice and one idea?
I think we kind of all felt like we, so to say, overcooked on Nuke after the game. So I don't think it was necessary to even mention it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Coming to Vertigo, it was again a little different map because. Again, we kind of have more experience on Nuke than we have on Vertigo.
Yeah.
So I think on Vertigo it was really us sticking to what we know. And yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of natural to, you know, kind of, I would say, take a step back and, you know, just go back to the basics. And then maybe there was some rounds where we, you know, started cook a little bit on Vertigo, but that was also necessary because at that point we kind of have nothing to lose, I would say. So, yeah.
Yeah. So talk me through Vertigo and just what, like, actually just playing it, full stop. Like, when you guys picked it, I was like, hold on a second. Like, checking my notes, I was like, wait, they've never played this map. So, like, what was the thought process in going into that veto?
I mean, I was hoping they would go for Ancient.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, they went for Vertigo in the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, as I said, we kind of had nothing to lose. We were relying on what we know we can do, you know, doing our things, our protocols. Yeah, I mean, I think we did all right. There's obviously way more things that we can improve on the Vertigo.
For sure.
It was a very good game to learn from for us. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just us, you know, going through the routines, what we know on the map so far.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, so do you think potentially the reason why you let them maybe come back into the game and why it went to overtime was just that lack of experience, or were there any other factors that brought you to that overtime?
I think honestly I would say maybe a little bit of lack of experience on the map. Yeah, I mean, there were some close rounds. There were some one-on-ones. I think 2 of those. There was some 2v2s that I think from the outside point of view, we should have closed out. I think it was like Donk had like an insane 3K, like 2 kills with MP9, and yeah, I mean, he had some good rounds that brought him back to the game. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of both, you know. Maybe us not having such a good, like a lot of experience on the map, but as well, from what I know from the guys, Donk had some crucial, important rounds and some good multi kills, which kind of got them into the game. And you know, like we were kind of full buy, low money, like this constantly. So yeah, I think it was kind of back and forth with this.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so looking forward, you're playing against Vitality in the semi-finals. That's already confirmed. In the team's recent history, they've lost to Vitality twice, with you only one of the times at World Finals it was. So they were quite severe losses. I think they were quite harsh 2-0s to Vitality. What maybe are you guys changing and bringing to the table to basically make that not happen again?
No, I mean, gotta take a look at how they play, right?
Yeah, sure.
They obviously gonna adapt some things. We might adapt some things. Don't really know what maps it's gonna be yet, but I mean, it's gonna be, I think, a game of mind games and I think good individual skill as well, because I mean, obviously they have good individuals as well, right? So, I mean, I expect a good game, honestly. Yeah.
Are you going to be bringing the hype again? Because yesterday, it was so cool seeing you play. It's like sometimes on FaZe, it's maybe just Carrigan getting hype. But I felt like yesterday, everyone was getting hype. And especially you were standing up. Like, you're going to bring that hype to Vitality?
I mean, of course. I feel like, I have very high emotions while playing this game, you know. And the game itself, it just means a lot to me. And especially, you know, playing Major. And I'm just happy for Finn, you know, that I mean, he's playing Major in his home country, so yeah, I mean, I will definitely bring the hype. Yeah, what more can you want if you are Finn, right? Like, it's pretty good. And so, a last point. I know you guys had your first boot camp before this Major. What was it like actually being able to ground yourself for a little bit, be in a boot camp, spend some time with the guys that aren't just at tournaments and traveling and actually practice? And I know you changed some of your roles, but like not massively coming into this team. But how was it being at boot camp from both just like the personal side, but also just playing Counter-Strike as well? I think from the playing side, it was kind of weird to suddenly have such a long time off. Yeah. Because before, when I joined, you know, we basically constantly had tournaments. I feel you know, like we had maybe 1 week of practice, so it was always in this tournament routine, you would say. And suddenly, you know, we had 2.5, almost 3 weeks of practice, which, yeah, I mean, it kind of felt weird, you know, suddenly not playing. That's unheard of in Tier-1. Exactly, right? Like suddenly, like we were just playing it from home. I mean, in this way, it was maybe a little bit weird, but I think it was on the like personal side, it was good to, you know, like good team bonding, you know, get to know people a little bit more. And Yeah, I think the like pros and cons, I would say, but overall, I think it was important to have that bootcamp, especially the first one.
Yeah, well, perfect. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. You had a great game yesterday, a great series. You've had a great tournament, to be honest. And hopefully against Vitality tomorrow, you are able to perform at that same level. And maybe we see a FaZe Grand Finals with you coming into the roster very recently as well.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you everyone for listening. And make sure to stay tuned in for more of our live coverage here in Copenhagen. See you later.